We call economics the dismal science, and I think it's not dismal enough. I think that economics should have a big section that has to do with necronomics, the economics of death and the incentives for death. Economics looks at the efficient use of resources, and capitalism is about creating a series of incentives to make through markets with buyers and sellers and suppliers and innovation and new entrants. But there are far too many perverse incentives. There's far too much moral hazard. There's far too much agency risk to lead people towards death. And so this is one reason that I'm very concerned about having too many people with too many government benefits, so that government thinks, we'll save a lot of money if we set up things so that people die sooner. This has been one of the justifications for governments not to get people to stop smoking. They want people to work until they retire and then die as soon as possible thereafter. But a lot of people are living healthy lives and they want to retire. If you retire in the military, you start at 18, you can retire after 20 years with a pension at 38. But what if people are living to 90 and 100? What's that cost? The costs are astronomical. So there's a lot of incentives to kill people off. And if we look at the leading causes of death, number one, with 26% of all the people dead each year, is heart disease. Number two is cancer. And with cancer, we have 1.6 million diagnoses of cancers each year, and 600,000 people die of cancer. And one of the strangest things of all is that people think there's some mystery about what causes cancer. There isn't a mystery. It's caused by carcinogens. Exposure to cancer-causing things makes people on a population more likely to get cancer. And so the biggest set of carcinogens we put out in the environment are from fossil fuels. So we have coal, we have oil, we have natural gas, and we get 80% of our energy. And we did 10 years ago, and we did 20 years ago, and we did 30 years ago. So why would we go and base our energy on things that give us cancer when that's the second leading cause of death? And similarly, if we go back to heart disease, what causes heart disease? Heart disease is caused by too little exercise and a bad diet, a diet that it causes inflammation. And we actually know how to get rid of a lot of our inflammation. So one way to get rid of inflammation is to put ice on something. Well, we can actually have cryotherapy. Cryotherapy should be a regular thing. Why don't we all get weekly cryotherapy and reduce our inflammation? Our whole nation would be much healthier. Why do we have a nation that for the last 30 years has increased our average weight by 1 pound a year, every year for 30 years? So that now we're 30 pounds more on average than we were 30 years ago. Well, that's put a lot of people into the category of overweight and a lot of people into obesity. Obesity accounts for 38% of people in America are obese and 78% are overweight. When you're obese, you have an 800% greater likelihood of getting diabetes type 2. And if you have a diagnosis of diabetes type 2, you have a reduction of life expectancy of 15 years. So why don't we fast more? One of the world experts in fasting and its scientific effects fasts 4 days out of every 7. 4 days a week he fasts. And there are many people who are doing intermittent fasting and they eat 1 meal a day. And they're doing great and they lose their weight. So I think that overall, the reason that we don't do these things is because people make more money if people are engaging in bad habits. I ask you, look around where Necronomics are and make some comments and tell me so I can learn more about this and be more knowledgeable about how to stop it.